Hello, Tim Ripper Owens here. Metal Fest, Mexico. I am coming there. Tim Ripper Owens, KK Priest. I will see all my fans and the fans and new fans and old fans. I will see you there.
Well, I'm here on behalf of Monterrey Rock, and we're here to talk about your presence on the Mexico Metal Fest. Um, let's talk about
Yes,
this festival. Are you excited? What are your expectations?
I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, I always loved playing Mexico. I've played there a lot in my career, solo and everything. So this festival's great. I mean, I've actually never seen King Diamond. Saw King Diamond play before, so I'm excited to watch King Diamond play and meet him and say hello. And yeah, I mean, Monterrey is great, and playing Mexico is always been great. So the fans are awesome. So I can't wait. They show a lot of love there, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. How do you feel about your fan base here? I've heard before that they're like so energetic and so different from other crowds. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, they're great. The I've always had really good solo shows there. I've played there mainly solo, and they're just great. They definitely like to take photos and talk to you when you're trying to leave the venue at the night. So they're very hands on. They love to do it, but they're very nice. I think the great thing about Mexico is the fans, the promoters I've dealt with, the food. So it's a big win for me.
I'm so glad you like the food, and Mexico really loves you and they're waiting for you here. Um so yeah, I want to know mainly your expectations on this festival. What are your plans for the show? Are you going to do something different? What can we expect, and do you expect?
Well, it'll be the end of it'll be like the 31st show we've had on this tour that we're doing now. I'm in Canada right now, with KK's Priest. So it'll be the last show on the tour. Um, so I imagine we're going to be primed and ready and even more energetic because when it's ever the last show, you really get pumped up even more. So, uh, the Metal Fest is definitely in for a really good show. The set list is great that we have, KK's Priest and Classic Priest. So I think, for me, I'm just looking forward to doing it, to meeting the bands. Uh, it's been a while since I've done a big festival, and I think the last festival I did was solo in Monterey. I did a festival somewhere in Monterey, some kind of festival that the government or the mayor put on or something like outside of right there. But anyways, I'm looking forward to it, and I think the fans are going to love it. They're going, they've been waiting for KK's Priest to get there, so it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, yes,
All right. Bye.
since you talked about this being the last show, I want to know, how are you? How is the band? You've toured Europe. You toured America. You're now in Canada. Uh, how are you at the moment on this tour? How do you feel? What's happened?
Well, it's good. The crowds have been great. I mean, all over. It's there's a lot of energy with this show, and we're all having fun, and people can see that on stage. So it makes the crowds even better. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, I feel like we've been on the road nonstop forever, even though I think we've only played 6 shows on this run in America out of like the 31 or whatever. We played about 6, but it feels like we've been on tour for a year straight for some reason because we tour Europe, we come home, everybody goes home for about 4 days, and then we go back on the road. So it's a night we're having a day off. We're in Niagara Falls today, so everybody's going to go sightseeing, and I'm looking forward to hitting the gym and the hotel and having a day off. But it's been it's been great. So I mean, I can't complain at all. I mean, I look forward to going on stage every night.
That's so amazing to hear. And I want to know, like, how do you prepare for being on tour, or what's like your routine being on tour?
Well, it's hard to have a set routine on tour because everything's different. Usually it's just, we're in the bus, so we mainly stay in the bus unless there's a day off. We get a hotel, so it's, for me, it's different than everybody else. I do the show and get to my bunk in the bus as soon as I can and go to sleep to get ready for the next show. But as you see, we do have this on tour, and
That's nice.
we have
Mexico representing.
Yes, we have Mexican beer on the tour, so we're representing you with that. Unfortunately, that's our sound man. I don't know how many he has before the show, so we're gonna have to check that out. But no, we the routine, it's hard. If I have a day off or I can find a local gym, I will go to the gym and get a workout, some exercise in. Today we have a hotel, so we'll be checking in soon. We're on the bus now, but we'll be checking in soon. But it's hard to get a certain routine, but I get up in the morning, I have my coffee, a lot of it, hang out, and then, do some exercises with the band if I don't have a thing. But like I said, before the show, I lay out my gum and my vitamins and my turmeric and all the ginger and all that stuff. And then after the show, I have one beer after the show, and then I go to bed.
Oh, that's nice. Just a beer to get a good night's sleep.
It'll be different there because it's the last show, so I'll have some probably Pacifico when I'm there. I have a feeling that's the one I'll probably pick, or Tecate, one of the two. And
then you're here. The Mexican beer is better here, so we don't know. Yes,
I used to always. It's funny. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I used to always get Tecate Light because I'm kind of a lightweight. So and I always liked it. I always thought it was great tasting. Some people make fun of me when I'm there and I get Tecate Light, but that's what I always get.
Well, from a personal recommendation, I can recommend you Carta Blanca if you like light beer. So you should try it out.
Well, then if I see you at the festival, you can make sure I have that beer.
I'll make sure of it.
Okay.
Well, on a more serious note, on September of last year, you launched your album, The Sinner Writes Again. It's almost a year. What satisfactions personally has this record given you? How do you feel about it?
Well, it's great. It's been received so good. It's such a great record, really. I mean, it's the songs on it are so good. The videos have, almost all of them have gotten over 1 million views, and it's been. I love. I was able to spend my time on the vocals on this record a little longer than I did on the first one, but it's been received so good, and they go over both records live. That the songs go over so good, but hearing the crowd sing, One More Shot at Glory, it's pretty awesome, and so it's nice to have the reception. It's crazy that it's a year later that it's been out, but it's been nice to have the reception that it has. And it's nice that we can play these songs from the records we do live, like they sound like the records. Not a lot of bands nowadays can actually reproduce the same, even more energy and even better. And it's nice that when we go on stage, we actually sound like the record, but even better. So it's kind of cool.
That's amazing because, well, you guys are awesome. You guys are great. And also you played at the Wacken Festival.
Yes.
This year. How was it?
It was great. It's always great. The Wacken Festival to me is it's a different type of vibe than some festivals. I mean, it's so big. It's a very LA rock star kind of festival. I always compare it to, it's just everybody's there. They kind of walk around, some people with their noses in the air, some of the musicians, or even it's always the bands that go on early. They kind of walk around like they're, but it's so well put together and so big. And it was great, because we were on stage. It was like Accept and us and Scorpions kind of around that time frame. So it was really cool. And Thomas is always, I didn't get to see him this year who puts it on, but he always puts on such a great festival. And, 1,000 people this year, and, it sells out within within minutes, really. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, now I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing and how your relationship with music was from the beginning. Like, if you can tell us a little bit of a story of how was the first time you felt like a really deep connection with music that you remember?
Well, I did really early on. My parents had had a lot of great music, and I remember as a little kid, I would listen to my dad's, 50s music that he listened to when he was young, like Dion and the Belmonts and Elvis and things like that. But my dad's music in the 70s when I was a kid was the Rolling Stones and Aerosmith and Bachman Turner Overdrive. Alice Cooper. So I got to listen to a lot of good stuff. I loved singing Elvis as a kid. And then, my brother and I got a Kiss record in the mid 70s, Rock and Roll Over. And I think that's how it kind of started. But I used to always sing. When I grew up, I was in all the choirs in school and sang in all the choirs and the musicals in school. So I did all that. Then I remember when I put on a Judas Priest record, I realized that style of singing was really easy for me. The high notes and the way that the vocals were. Singers like Ronnie Dio and Anthrax, Joey Belladonna and stuff, that was harder. Singers like Metal Church singer David Wayne and Rob Halford and was easy. And I would always sing it. Then I learned how to sing Ronnie Dio's style, and I worked on my voice. But I loved singing and performing as a kid. I didn't plan on doing it for a career, though. I worked at a law firm, and I had jobs, and I always did stuff. And so I never really planned on being a musician. I just got lucky. Judas Priest found a videotape of me, and I got lucky. So then I made a career out of it. But I always loved doing it as a kid growing up. I always loved music.
Hey, that's amazing. I'm also studying law, so I can relate to you, and I'm doing anything like something way different.
Yeah.
And how do you feel these bands influenced your music now? Like, do you have any influence from like Elvis or the Rolling Stones or Alice Cooper now in your style of music, or has it changed a lot?
Absolutely. No. I still get even more. Like nowadays, I get a lot of influence from David Bowie. I love David Bowie, so I get a lot of influence by his voice. But Alice Cooper and Beatles. I didn't like the Beatles when I was younger at all, because I don't think my dad listened to the Beatles. I don't think he liked the Beatles. He liked the Rolling Stones. He didn't like the Beatles.
Okay.
But I love the Beatles. I love the Beatles now, and I get a lot of influence, obviously off of. But I still get influenced. My biggest influence is Ronnie James Dio. That's definitely my biggest one of all time. But I still get influenced by people like that. Metal Church, Sabotage, John Oliva, and but the typicals, Priest, Maiden. Now it's funny because I'm pretty much my own person now. I've been at it for 30 years, so it's great now that I'm actually influencing other people. So It's kind of cool, but I still really get a lot of inspiration from the biggest one probably for me now is someone like David Bowie, just because he's so unique and sings all these characters. I get some stuff from him.
Yeah. And you mentioned that now you're influencing other people. Well, my interview always includes a bonus question. Now that you can influence other people, do you have any band or new project that you recommend that you're like, even if it's someone like you influenced or like some band that now you feel like, oh, they're new, but they're like something I would recommend and they're great. So for other people to listen to something you recommend?
Gosh, anything new? I don't really even know, because unfortunately I get stuck in listening to the music on my phone in my iTunes, and it's always something there's nothing hardly ever. There's never anything new in it. It's weird. It's always, it's always the classics. Like I said, even in with Beatles, David Bowie, James Taylor, to Benediction, to, Death Angel. So it's all kinds of stuff, but I don't really know of anything that new. You know, I would tell them to listen to something like, if they're going to be a musician or a singer, find a singer that you love a lot and you kind of think you can be like, and then kind of sing along with it and listen to that, you know. But don't ever put yourself in one box, you know. Listen to everybody and sing along with everybody. I don't care if someone doesn't like it. I don't care if it's Shania Twain. I don't really care who it is, you know. Listen to that and love whatever music you want to listen to and be proud of it.
Well, that's amazing words, and I've been really glad to have you. And for the end of this interview, I want to ask you if you can say like, "Hi, the Metal Fest. I'm coming to you, and I'll hope to see you there," or something like that. Like to invite people to the Metal Fest.
Yes, yes. Hello, Tim Ripper Owens here. Metal Fest, Mexico. I am coming there. Tim Ripper Owens, KK Priest. I will see all my fans and the fans and new fans and old fans. I will see you there.